Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. I am the luckiest girl in the world today. Let me reintroduce you to Kate David, landscape designer, owner of Hello Garden Design. Hello Design?
Hello Garden Design.
Hello Garden Design. She is from the Pacific Northwest, Seattle specifically. I met Kate at the Northwest Flower and Garden Festival this past winter, and you've changed my world, my dear.
Thank you. You've changed mine. Oh. You've also changed mine. She's also changed mine.
So if we look a little tired, it's because we are.
Yeah.
Because yesterday we just had our pop-up event at Park Winters.
So much fun.
Oh, it was just
such tired
such
feet.
A blast. No. Yeah. So I begged Kate to speak at that event, and she of course did, and you hopped on a plane and came down here, and it was such a wonderful, wonderful event, and I've got to spend so much good time with you, but I could not let Kate leave without asking her to design some containers.
Which is like playtime. It's like, do you want to come over and play? Why, yes, I do.
It's like, you guys, I've won the lottery. Like, it's just incredible that I've won the lottery. So how did you get started with containers?
So funny enough, I actually got started, I've been doing containers for myself for as long as I can remember. Okay. I had a kitchen window that faced the side of my neighbor's house. And I was just like sick of looking at it. And so I started doing hanging baskets right outside my kitchen window. Because when you're sitting there, and I had young babies, and so I'm washing bottles and all the things.
Yeah.
And you want something pretty to look at that just makes you smile.
Yes.
So that developed into a front porch pot, and then another front porch pot, and then another deck pot. And kind of just slowly but surely, I was doing them personally. And then when I started my business, I had a couple clients who said, oh, can you come do a container? And I was like, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then when my mentor retired, she said, I have this beautiful book of clients, and I'm retiring, and I want someone to take care of them. Would you be interested in taking on these clients?
She trusted you because you have a talent.
Well, she'd seen what I did, you know? and so I took on that book of clients, and over the next, I would say 4 to 5 years, it quadrupled.
So how many containers do you do in a season?
Oh my gosh, in a season, probably, maybe almost 300? Like maybe 250?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and sometimes they're like these big long troughs, sometimes they're pots, sometimes they're little moments within the landscape where I'm doing cool bedding plants.
Oh my goodness.
But all told, throughout the year, I'll do almost 900 containers. Yeah. And it's really fun.
So you don't just do spring containers or something?
No.
Oh, okay. I guess that's what I was asking is, so you come back and you do change it to fall?
Oh, full on. So I actually refer to this, and the industry, you refer to it as seasonal color. Because these are these beautiful seasonal moments that help like herald in the season. Yeah. So in Seattle, I'm out in March. So sometimes we get some snaps in February that are super cold. So beginning of March, I'm getting everyone ready for spring. We're doing forced bulbs and violas and pansies and just all the yummy stuff.
Yeah.
And then in May, I have 1 more week to go. We are doing spring or summer color. Okay. And this is probably the biggest push of the year.
It's the most fun.
It's like so fun.
Yes.
And then starting at the end of September, we move into fall color. And this is like those yummy warm tones, lots of texture, just bringing in like a lot of that moodiness. I have a couple clients who love like Halloween colors, and that is like a stitch. It is so fun. I'm like,
you have the most fun
It
job.
is so fun. I'm piling pumpkins in containers. It's amazing.
Incredible. That's
and then
cool.
Yeah, and then I've got some winter clients, and I'll sweep in probably like the week after Thanksgiving to get their homes ready for the holiday season. So I have clients who celebrate Christmas, who celebrate Hanukkah, and that's really fun too, because I get to embrace so many different religious traditions and help everyone welcome in their winter celebrations. It's fantastic.
It's just incredible. And I have to say, like, I'll admit that I am an ornamental gardener, as are you, honestly.
Yes, totally, yeah.
And containers are always kind of like back of my mind, like, oh, I'll get that container later on. But since I've met you, I have a whole new outlook on containers, because you don't plant up container, like usually I'll just do like a thriller, filler, and spiller and be like, oh, I'm so good. But you treat them like they're their own little gardens.
They are. They're micro landscapes.
It's just, I just never thought of that. I just never thought of that. And we just went to the garden center and we just got a whole bunch of stuff. And Kate shocked me what she chose to go in these containers. I had no idea that you were going to go this way, and as soon as you did, it was like, oh, I want more of that. I want more of that. So do you want to show us what you picked out?
Totally. And so anytime I do a container installation, I like to chat with my client and get a sense of who they are and what they're loving and what it's almost like you lean into your intuition a little bit, and I get to pull out from Janey what she's excited about for the season.
Yeah. By the way, if anyone's wondering what's happening behind the scenes, you guys have a tough job, huh? Some of this stuff I had, she went through and she started looking at the stuff that I had, and then we went to the garden center. We went to Green Acres. I showed her Green Acres.
It was so much fun.
Right. By the way, did you plan your outfit to match my pots? Because
I didn't, but I was perfectly. I knew I was coming down to California, and I was like, I gotta bring overalls because I'm always in my overalls.
Yes.
And I love that I get to like cuff them and wear Tevas. I'm such a nerd. But,
oh my gosh.
I fully plan to bring garden gear. They are. They're my favorite because they're so stretchy.
I love it.
Like I work in my.
I have the green ones.
Yeah.
And I'm obsessed, but now I'm gonna buy those.
Do you have the neoprene knee inserts?
Absolutely. Life changing.
Of course you do.
Okay, so let's go through what you picked out.
Yes. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to see what you had on property to play with. Okay, this Browalia, I immediately was like, this is the most stunning purple moment. You get this little tiny. This is like classic Kate move. I look at the center of a flower.
Oh, you do? Yes.
I always look at the center of a flower.
I should be focusing on that.
Yeah. And so with this one, you get that little hit of white. And so immediately when we went to the garden center, I was like, I need to bring in a touch of white.
Yes.
Because I want to pop that center. I want everyone to look like they're in conversation with one another. Yes. I want it relating to one another.
Yeah.
The next thing I was really attracted to, actually, was this bad rag right here.
Yeah, which we're not going to say the name.
Oh, we can't say the name of this one.
Right, but because it's a 2025 for proven winners, but look how pretty it is.
This coleus, I was like, how do I get my hands on this? This thing is awesome.
I know.
And then we have a staple that I love, love, love to use. Black mondo grass.
Yeah.
And it has this sweet bloom with a purple bud. And again, we're bringing in, this actually kind of echoes the pansies, which I know are like,
They're almost done. But it's very
But
beautiful.
isn't it so sweet? And this is that really great strappy foliage. I know I go on and on about it, but texture is so important when you're creating a dynamic
the
arrangement.
coleus, because you put those two together, and I was like,
oh, these ones right here.
Oh.
Yeah.
She held these next to each other, and with the Browalia, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I get it. I get what you're doing.
Totally.
And it was so interesting, and I had them far apart from each other because I had not planned to put them together at all, but I get it. I see it.
The thing is like you can put containers together and by just changing a singular element, they go from like sweet to a little bit more funky, a little bit more artistic, a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Or if you really want to lean into that romantic moment, I'm not going to put a black mondo grass in a romantic arrangement.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's just too strappy and too funky. And so literally by changing these little elements and finding the friends that speak to each other, because plants need friends. And you need to find like it's like curating a party, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Or like curating like the dinner table at a party, like who's gonna have a really good conversation together and all that.
I love you so much.
This is containers. Who's gonna have a good conversation together? And I feel like we have killed it. I mean, this is full shade. So we've got just a beautiful texture story. We have multiple varieties of coleus. I really wanted some that had just, this is Kong Rose, one of my favorites. It has this little tiny hit of pink, because the other color I wanted to bring into this arrangement to set it apart from the front, give it its own little moment. I found this begonia in your garden and I'm freaking out over it.
It's amazing. And so this is a Surefire Rose begonia, and I had to say to her, these are not normal begonias.
Yeah.
These are going to get huge and they're going to be beautiful, and you are going to be obsessed from now on.
Yeah.
You guys all know how I feel about this plant.
Well, and for me, it's not just about this bloom, but it's about this leaf texture.
Yes, I love this leaf on here.
The leaf on here is really fantastic. It's sturdy, it's glossy, it's got some depth to it. It plays with the black mondo grass. So we're getting a little bit like, we're like cute, but with a little bit of edge.
Yeah.
You know? And so then the other things, I was like, well, do you have any Creeping Jenny? And you were like,
do I have Creeping Jenny?
Do I? And so this fabulous little monster here, Goldilocks, use tons of this. I think I've already gone through 4 or 5 flats of this season.
Yep.
Because it's such a beautiful performer for me.
Yes.
And then I wanted a couple other things. I wanted to, again, bring a little hint of the zigzag planter. I want your garden to look like it's all having the same conversation. So if I can bring a few elements, whether it be a color or a texture, into your container entry, it just helps it sing the same song.
Yeah.
So of course dichondra, and I'm completely obsessed that your dichondra looks like a carpet. It is.
They do like it here.
Oh,
They
God,
are
it's
very,
sensational.
very happy.
Sensational.
Can you talk about the moss? Because
Yeah,
I think
totally,
that's special.
totally.
By the way, yes, we can see the boys.
The boys in the background.
Yourself,
it's like watching
series?
Kate and Janey TV. Okay, so moss is one of my favorite ways to play in a container, and specifically, I use this as a highlighter. Okay, so here's the deal.
This blew my mind at the garden center. I was like, what? Huh?
When you put a black mondo grass into a container, a lot of times it'll get lost because it's dark. It matches the soil.
Yes.
So, and this is such a beautiful plant. We don't want it to get lost. So as soon as you put it with a mossy texture, something very chartreusey, very vibrant, all of a sudden, the pairing of these two, the contrast of these two, it elevates it. And it gives it a true moment where this gets to shine. And quite frankly, they both get to shine because they are such a stark contrast.
I mean, when you brought this up, when you grabbed this and you were like, yeah, we need this. And she just put it in the cart and I was like, wait, what? Excuse me? I have never used a mossy ground cover in a pot. But now that you've opened my eye, it's like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense.
Oh, and playing with mosses in the fall, like moss with like a euphorbia and violas. I don't know what it is about a moss in a fall, but that's like for me, like peak moss season.
Oh my gosh.
Peak moss
Kate,
season. Because you can also play with it a little bit because winter it gets cooler.
Yeah.
And so that's where I really push the envelope. And I'm like, I'm going to put in a little bit more sun. I'm going to roll the dice, see what happens.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it may fry, but also it may be killer. The light may be soft enough where it can hold its own.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I'm blown away by that idea. I mean, I love it so much. And you guys just wait. I'm gonna have moss in all my shade containers from now on.
Well, and then of course we had to bring in Japanese forest grass.
Yes.
I love this.
I am obsessed with Japanese forest grass.
And I think with your entry, we are in here and we're set away from the garden, right? And so when we're set away from a garden, the one thing that we want to make sure that we're doing is we're bringing in movement, you know?
Yep.
And so anytime you can put, it's the same impact when you have like concrete sculptures, metal sculptures in the garden, that static element amplifies the movement of your garden. So we're reversing the script. So we are bringing movement into a more static landscape, and that juxtaposition, that tension is what makes a design really, really pop.
I love it.
Oh, and I want to do one other thing.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
This is the special little jewelry that she got.
So when you were doing a cluster of containers and you were playing with colors, I always want kind of a bi-color floral moment. Because what this one element will do is it will tie together our entire story. Yes, we're using pink. Yes, we're using purple. But we all want it to look like it's at the same party. So the second I bring these two together, it now bridges our story.
Look at that.
You know what I mean?
Love it. And she was at the garden center. She was dead set on this. She's like, I need a pink and purple fuchsia. I need it.
Because it just felt like it called for it. It's like sexy and droopy and like just yummy.
It's beautiful.
And actually, it was so funny. I found this and I knew exactly what container I wanted to put it in as
yeah?
well. Because I want to put it in this little basket because I imagine like it just overflowing out of it. And this guy will actually grow. Oh, hi, Monty. This guy will actually grow 15 to 20 inches high, a space of 20 inches. And so what you can do is you can also plan for growth, right? So do you see how the lip kind of goes out like that? What's going to happen is you're going to run out of root space. Well, you know who has shallow roots?
Oh,
Moss.
Yes.
So I can give it a little bed of moss and it'll just be sumptuous.
You're going
and
to put
lovely.
the moss with the fuchsia?
Yeah, totally.
Kate.
Yeah.
Kate.
Yeah.
So excited to get these planted.
Oh my gosh.
So tell me about the maples that you picked out.
Okay, so the maples, I wanted like a really like structural moment. And what's beautiful about a coral bark maple is that even when it loses its leaves, the vibrancy of the bark then becomes the story.
Look at that.
So yes, it's deciduous. Yes, it will lose its leaves, but this is actually 4 seasons of interest.
Right. And
do you know what I mean?
Like, oh my, Jason, I see Jeffrey on the counter inside. Can you?
Jeffrey!
Can you see that? Can we see that? Look at him. He's
Look
not allowed
at
to be on the counter.
This is like while mom's away.
Jeffrey!
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you imagine the branches and then with like twinkle lights all around them?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
How beautiful. I love this.
Okay, do you want another little tip? So when you have like I don't know if you can do cornice down here, but like red twig dogwood is really lovely. Arctic fire dogwood. Even some of this pruning, you can actually stick these into a vase. You can stick them into an existing container arrangement for these beautiful red sparks, and it gives such great texture.
I love it.
So that's another little like trick that sometimes you need like an extra little zhuzh.
Okay, we are done. This is stunning. This is so incredibly beautiful. When I said, can you come and do containers for me? And I said, there's shade. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I freaked. I was like, shade is my jam.
It is so beautiful.
Yeah.
I cannot believe what you did. Can you take us through them real quick?
I would love to. Whenever I develop a story like this, it truly is a story, and I want your eye to be able to take in everything. So it's about moving color, it's about moving texture, it's about having trailing bits, breaking up lines, because the more we break up these lines, it's like, even just look at this right here. Do you see how our Japanese forest grass is coming over here and just tickling the edge of this container? Now they're relating to one another. I'm wanting to invite all of these containers into conversation with one another. So we started with this just beautiful, beautiful purple with that little white center. And from there, I wanted to build more of that story. So we come back here, we've got our little baby fuchsia. This is where we're marrying together the purple as well as the pink. We also have used our moss here to provide an element that will jump your eye from container to container. So if we just look at chartreuse elements, we have coleus, we have Japanese forest grass, Hakonocloa, we have Scotch moss, we have, or Sagina, we have the edge of our coleus, our Kong rose. And then as we come up here, we're finishing it off with some beautiful Goldilocks creeping Jenny. We've got some more amazing mosses because again, we're tying all of our elements together.
It is so stunning. And I never would have done this, Kate. You're just so good. I won the lottery.
So the other thing that I was telling you as we were planting is whenever you're working with a house that is primarily white, it is paramount that you bring in deep saturated tones. If I were to go too lime greeny against this house, things would start to look a little bit sickly. There isn't enough tension. So really, when we bring in this gorgeous begonia with this deeper leaf, we bring in the black mondo grass with its black strappy foliage. When we bring in this myriad of coleus that, again, this is wedding train, we're building in darker tones with just a pop of that mid-tone green. So when we're layering these things together, we have an opportunity to create a lot of depth that will bounce off of your beautiful white home.
Can we talk about the foxtail fern?
Yeah.
I mean, that is...
We want it like for this. So the other thing you're going to notice is that when I'm doing container arrangements like this, I want to provide a couple pieces where we just rest our eye for a second. The foxtail fern, this is 100% one of those. I want just texture on texture. I'm not going to put in color. I'm just going to have this be like a beautiful kind of sculptural moment. And I love that we kind of start up here, we go down, we build some height right by your doorbell. Then here, this, I like things to be just slightly askew, you know, just slightly off. Because that samey, it makes it feel stale. And this feels curated, this feels collected, this feels like maybe you went to one garden center and you bought one piece, and then you went to another garden center and you got one piece, or maybe you went on a trip and you got another piece. This is the drama. And then because we have this beautiful rest for the eye on this side, I wanted to reflect it on the other side. So that is why we have a singular planting of this Hakonakloa.
Love it.
And what it also does is it provides a lot of movement right in the center of this arrangement.
Kate, you're amazing.
Thank you for having me.
I'm grinning ear to ear right now. You guys don't even know. I feel so special to have this opportunity just to even just watch you work. It is so much fun. Things that I never would have even thought of. And you're like, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And then you explain why. And I'm like, oh, of course. Why would we not do that?
But it's, you know, it's like, it's years of experience and it's trial and it's error. And I'm constantly trying new combinations. And for me, when I do container arrangements, I always think about how will I know I'm successful? I know I'm successful when it makes my heart sing. And so to be able to come down here, and you've been so gracious and opened your home and to get to leave a little piece of me behind to bring you joy, that fills my cup. It just 100% fills my cup. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.